You know those TV shows that use those scary headlines to get your attention?
Ooh, I think we've all seen those.
Well, our first story today has one of those headlines, and unfortunately, it is not exaggerated. Because it deals with something that's likely to touch every one of us in the years ahead, either directly or indirectly.
But the good news is that help is on the way, and I say that as someone with a very personal interest in this topic. Bone health has been a concern of mine for well over a decade. I was long ago diagnosed with osteopenia, low bone density, and I was worried about it progressing to a more serious condition known as osteoporosis. I was especially concerned after a fall in which I broke my shoulder, and the results from a recent DEXA scan were not good.
The reality is you do already have the diagnosis of full-blown osteoporosis. You've got the real thing. So your low bone density right now probably is, it does represent the fact that you've had a fracture and your body has taken minerals and protein from the rest of your bones to heal that fracture. It needed that. That was an emergency. It had to borrow it from somewhere. So you really need to work hard, and the next year is the best time to do it. What you need to do is be sure you have an exercise program that includes impact and strengthening. And then you need to eat healthy, which you're already doing, and you need a supplement.
Dr. Charles Price has had his own personal experience with this topic. He's a distinguished orthopedic surgeon and bone health researcher. His mother developed osteoporosis from a fracture, then suffered a broken hip, which led, unfortunately, 8 months later to her death. His wife was then diagnosed with osteopenia. A powerful pharmaceutical drug was prescribed for her, but Dr. Price and his wife wanted to pursue a more natural healing path.
At the time, I was doing some research with silicone in bone graft materials. It came out of France, and it was making a tremendous difference for bone healing. So that led me on the path to silicone.
Dr. Price says strong, healthy bones require both protein and calcium, and silicon is important for both. Calcium is what makes bones hard. Specific bone proteins provide support, structure, and flexibility. Bone health experts say our modern food supply doesn't deliver the calcium and bone nutrient proteins we need.
In reality, more than half of Americans are not getting multiple nutrients that they need. And the reason is a healthy diet would consist of 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, 4 servings of whole grain, and 3 servings of a dairy product. That's very hard to get, so that's why supplements help augment that.
Dr. Price says the right kind of silicon is needed to attract calcium to the bone and strengthen the protein in bone along with hair, skin, and nails.
I realized that there was not a supplement that was doing what we wanted to do.
So in collaboration with his colleagues at the Institute for Better Bone Health, he created one.
The Silical system has magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D, which are basic for bone hardness. But it's also got silicon and boron and vitamin K2 and a couple of other ingredients that are found in normal foods that are important for the bone protein that the calcium and magnesium hook onto. You can't form bone without silicon.
Dr. Price says a daily supplement is important to supporting bone health.
Bone loss begins at age 30, and it's a downward trip from then. It accelerates in women after age 50, and men are about 5 years behind. But it's a lifelong problem that you have to begin at a very young age to work on your bone health.
At the same time, Dr. Price says it is possible to improve bone health at any age.
It's never too late to start your bone health program.
Dr. Price says weight-bearing exercise is a key ingredient in a bone health program. Fitness expert Wendie Pett says that doesn't have to mean long hours at the gym.
You've got to do weight-bearing exercise, but a lot of people don't like to go to the gym, and I actually encourage people that you don't need weights whatsoever because your mind is that powerful that you can create the weight in your hand by actually visualizing it, and then go ahead and lift as if you were lifting a weight, but you get the same benefits except for you don't put the wear and tear on your joints, tendons, and ligaments. So this is weight-bearing exercise without a weight being in your hand. It's still going to build muscle, shed fat, and it's going to be bone building. It's going to.
Wendie calls her program Visibly Fit.
With Visibly Fit, I have 7 core foundational exercises that I encourage people to do every day, twice a day. And I call it 7 by 11. So these 7 exercises, do them before 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. It's your schedule. Just figure it out and get them in. And so if you did those 7 alone, it would be very beneficial for bone health and also to build strong muscles and shed fat in the process too.
Wendy's client, Sue Matheson Price, has been active all her life and is a big fan of Wendy's exercise program. In addition, Sue's diet is rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Despite that, she's had her own bone health challenge.
I have always exercised. I eat right, and I still got osteopenia. I started the Silical system, and my bones are awesome. I feel good. I'm able to do anything I want to do, and life is good.
For patients like Carolyn Chase, maintaining good bone health is especially important after menopause.
After the age of 50, a woman's risk of dying from a hip fracture is equal to her risk of dying from breast cancer. There are so many broken hips, and 25% of women die after a hip fracture. So what we have here are 2 wishbones, and one has had the calcium removed chemically, so it's protein. It's the collagen. It's the same collagen that's in your hair, skin, and nails. And you need some flexibility in that collagen. The other one is basically a dried one where the protein is no longer effective. It's just the calcium. In healthy bone, you need both. You need the protein and the calcium. The Silical system provides for both. And let me show you what happens if you've only got one. In this one is the one without the calcium. And you can see that it's wiggly and wobbly.
Goodness.
Now, this other one has the not very good protein. It's all calcium. Calcium and vitamin D supplements only give you this. And too much calcium actually increases the risk of fracture because your bones can be brittle like a dried out bone that doesn't have good protein structure. Are you ready?
I'd like to make a wish. Can we use this little wish?
I want you to make a wish.
Okay,
And
I
so
bet
we're
you
gonna-
can guess
we're
what I'm
use-
going to wish for.
We're going to use the one with calcium but no protein because that's the one that'll break.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So you now make your wish before you go. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
You want to know what I wished?
What?
I wish that your bone health would improve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is just really a good reminder to me that I have to really start taking care of my bones.
Yes, please do.
I will.
Okay.
And here, as a reminder of that promise you made, is the little piece of wishbone you ended up with.
Thank you. You kept it?
I did.
Well, I'm going to use this as a reminder. Of course, diet and exercise is really important, and now a bone health supplement. That's my plan for dealing with this scary headline that we started this story with.
Well, bone health is a very big issue these days.
In fact, Dr. Price told me they're starting to see teenagers with low bone density because of poor nutrition and the lack of weight-bearing exercise.
And this is by no means only an issue for girls and women, either young or old. Men who have a hip fracture are more likely to die after that than women who have the same injury.
And I was stunned to hear Dr. Price say that after 50, a woman's risk of dying from a hip fracture is equal to her risk of dying from breast cancer. Wow.
If you'd like more information about this topic, Dr. Price and the Institute for Better Bone Health,
We have the links for you on the Healing Quest website.